What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Cjthecheesedj here, and we are back with another Arc Genesis video for you guys today. And today, guys, we're going over the new items and the new biomes that they released during the Extra Life's charity stream. So we're going to be going over them for you guys today, showing you all the stuff, trying to clarify it all, and showcasing it to you what it can do. So first off, guys, we've got the hover sail. Now, one thing I want to point out is that it doesn't say tech hover sail, which makes me believe that hopefully this doesn't need element to run. But, okay, hold on, I stand corrected. So, you've never really traveled until you've tried hover sailing. There's no better way to get yourself across the ring than jumping on one of these high-tech boards and surfing the air currents, and no better feeling than skimming the skies to find the perfect tailwind while nailing flashy tricks to boost your speed. So that little statement there, high-tech boards, kind of ruins it, and it'll probably be tech-based with element requirements, which kind of sucks because it would be really cool if it wasn't. But something that it does mention is that the mention of tailwind, flashy tricks to boost your speed. So it sounds like you'll be able to take this thing over jumps. You'll be able to hopefully fly up in the air a little bit and then do some tricks, come back down, and you'll get a nice speed boost to get along your way, which would be really cool. Yeah, so I reckon that would be really cool. Here it is up close and personal. You can see that's like a front view of it. This is the side view with the sail opening up. And then obviously, this is obviously going to require element, I reckon. Based off these pictures, I'm thinking it's going to need element to run. So this is what the element's going to look like. You can have, and then obviously it's without element. But something that's really cool about this last picture is that there's an extra guy here. Now, I don't know if that's supposed to be the same survivor or if it's someone different. Now, the main reason I say that is because there's also a guy back here, which obviously they've done the model just for show, but this is obviously where you'd hold on to your tech hover sail or your hover sail and use it to glide. So I'm thinking you'll actually be able to carry another person with you as well. And he's actually holding one of the new weapons that are available in Genesis 2. So I definitely think this is going to be a two-person carrier, which is really cool. But yeah, that's the tech hover sail. I keep saying tech hover sail when I mean hover sail. I still think it's going to require element to run, which kind of sucks, but fingers crossed it doesn't. Nonetheless, you can get element pretty easily nowadays in Arc. But let's move on to the next one. So the next one, we've got the tech bow. So run into trouble aboard the ship. The Federation issue tech bow materializes arrows of any type on the fly and uses electromagnetism to shoot them at blinding velocities. Now, this sounds really dope. Let's take a closer look at it. Here we go. So that's a front view, side view of it with the arrow knocked and ready to go. A standard sit-in view, and then the arrow, the bow and arrow compacted, and also the inside of the bow and arrow. So it looks like when you pull the string back, it kind of compresses air through this slot here and turns it into an arrow. So this is the back end of the bow because that's the drawstring. And this is like a motor, I guess you could say. And then that's the end of the arrow tip. So that would be this section here. So obviously this is going to require element or element shards to fire and use ammo. But the fact that you don't need to bring arrows with you makes it a lot easier. Now, one other really cool thing about it is that it says that it materializes arrows of any type on the fly. So I got a feeling this is going to be like the grenade launcher, except instead of needing the ammo, you'll just have it automatically and you can just switch between it like the grenade launcher. So you'll have flame arrows, you'll have trank arrows, you'll have metal arrows, you'll have stone arrows possibly. And each one will require a different amount of element to use, which I think is a really cool idea. I definitely see it working, and especially considering how good compound bows are, you get a good blueprint of this sucker and you're going to be dealing some serious damage to whatever it is that you come across. So I'm keen to see how that goes. Let's keep going though. So next up, we've got the Tech Federation suit. So obviously a tech suit, but it says Federation, which makes me think that this ship was built by humans. It was run by humans, and then Rockwell has obviously taken it over. So Suit Up Survivor, you'll find this to be an upgrade from what you experienced wearing inside the Genesis simulation. This sleek, high-tech exo armor should protect you in a variety of otherwise lethal situations. And best of all, on Genesis Part 2, this suit has unlimited jetpack power without the need for element, and flyers are also supported this time around. Flyers are also fully supported this time around. Flyers, I'm not too sure what it means by that statement at the end there. Maybe you'll be able to actually fly instead of like having to hold down your punch button in your normal tech suit at the moment and just like doing it like that, because yeah, I'm not 100% sure what it means by that, but nonetheless, here we have the tech suit here. Very similar in design, I've got to say. Couple of extra like exhaust fans. It looks much more, not bulkier, but also not denser, but like more armored plating, if that makes sense. It definitely looks like there's more armor plating throughout the armor. I think it looks really nice. It's very reminiscent of like the Crisis suit, I think, but like nonetheless, I reckon it looks pretty awesome. The power to fly unlimitedly without needing element is pretty cool. But yeah, that's the tech suit. We're going to move on to the next one now, which is the canoe. Now, not simply just for recreation, you can pick your canoe up and place it down again in any body of water with multiple rowers working in tandem. The canoe can travel exceptionally fast. Fishing from a canoe is especially convenient, as is the built-in cooking pot. So, a couple of things about the canoe. We just had the picture up. Here it is. So, a couple of things. It's got an inbuilt cooking pot. Where the hell the inbuilt cooking pot is, I have no idea where they're fitting that thing in. Maybe at the front here, hidden from us. You can have up to 3 survivors by the looks of it sitting in your canoe. And obviously, I'm going to say each survivor that you have in the canoe will enable you to move faster in the canoe. You can pick it up and place it down whenever you want. Obviously, it'll be, if it gets destroyed or anything, you're going to have to make another one. But the fact that you can do that is pretty cool, because you can't actually do that with rafts as far as I'm aware. It also doesn't look like you'll be able to build like any sort of base or anything like that. So a very primitive sort of way to get around the new biomes, which we'll be going over soon. So yeah, and it also says not simply just for recreation. So if you want to just go out for like a leisurely canoe one day, you totally can. So that's pretty cool. And obviously you can fish from the canoe as well. They just said there. So fishing from a canoe is especially convenient, as is the built-in cooking pot. Built-in cooking pot is pretty cool. I think that's a pretty unique sort of thing to have. So next up, we have the minigun. Now, the minigun kind of reminds me of an auto turret. It's kind of obviously a different design, but we'll go over it right now here. So, need a massive barrage of bullets to keep your enemies under pressure. What this minigun lacks in accuracy and tendency to overheat, it makes up for in sheer firepower. Place it in a stationary mode to improve its accuracy and clear targets around corners. Now, this is pretty cool. And clear targets around corners, yeah. So, we've got the minigun here. So, a couple of different things. So, straight away, you can handhold it, and you can see here that's what the handheld design looks like. You're obviously going to get a lot of recoil. It's going to overheat. You might miss your target, but you're going to spray bullets like no tomorrow. The other really cool thing is it's got legs attached to it. So, you can see here that these legs are already attached to the minigun, so you can drop it down, deploy it, and it'll shoot off on its own, and it'll provide you a lot more accuracy using this sort of stature, which is a really good thing because it's genuinely how miniguns or like heavy caliber weaponry will work. You know, you've got this big ass rotating barrel, you're going to get a lot of recoil from it, it's going to overheat. Whereas if you stick it in this stationary position, you're going to have more control over it. You're going to be able to stop itself from overheating by, you know, obviously not shooting it as much and stuff like that. Really keen for the minigun though. I think it's a really good addition. And it's going to be very easy for them to implement, I reckon, as well, because they've already got the auto turret, the heavy turret, so they can kind of just pull coding from that and stick it into the into the minigun, which is really cool. Alrighty, let's move on to the next one, the tech pistol. So we're getting into our tech gear stuff now. So each crew member will be issued a Federation phase pistol, equipped with multiple lethality settings. Take care not to aim one of these in the vicinity of any crewmate or shipboard fauna, unless it is set to healing or stun mode. Now, this is really cool. So, let's get this bad boy up. So, you've got killing mode, healing mode, and stun mode. So, stun mode, I'm going to say it's like a 10-second stun where you'll stun them. Obviously, they won't be able to move. They'll be dizzied. Very similar to how the Polovia stuns you when it jumps out of the ground. That's how I see this working. Healing mode, obviously, it's going to work as a healing tool. So, you're going to be able to heal your dinos, other characters, that sort of stuff. And then killing mode, obviously, it's in the name. You're going to be able to kill stuff, shoot stuff out of it, which sounds really cool. Now, I see each of these having a different sort of mode of fire. So, for example, the stun mode might fire like a little laser out of this yellow bit down the bottom. The healing mode might fire green balls of like goo out of this thing. Because see how it's kind of like a wide capacity sort of thing? So, I definitely see it being like a sort of a ball thing. And then the killing mode's obviously going to be like tech bullets. But a cool thing is that it says each crew member will be issued a Federation phase pistol. So whether or not you'll spawn with these when you first enter the Genesis 2, and when you first enter Genesis 2, that'd be a pretty cool thing. Whether or not they implement that is a different story. Alrighty, so let's move on to the structures. We've covered the weapons and the items. So let's go over the new structures. Now, before we get into this, one thing I really want to say is I really hope they include a new tier of building. I really hope they've hidden that in the back pocket and they drop that on release, and I hope it's a really cool tier of buildings because I think it definitely needs a new tier. So we've already got like thatch, wood, stone, metal, and adobe. I really think they need to implement a new tier of building for Genesis 2. Now, we've also got tech. I forgot tech, but like something between metal and tech I think would be really cool, or something above tech that doesn't require the same amount of element, that sort of stuff. I don't know. Hopefully they implement it. That's just my thoughts. Now, first up, we have the egg incubator. Now, who needs to fuss with eggs when you can use this fantastical mechanical egg incubation device to cook them to perfection? This device lets you view all the statistics and mutations of eggs and incubate them at an optimal temperature while hatching them at your convenience. Oh, music to my ears. That's beautiful. So not only are you going to be able to cook different types of eggs together, so wyvern eggs, what's the coldest egg? Snow owl eggs, magma eggs. You'll be able to do it all in one sort of device. You'll also be able to see their stats, their mutations, and hatching them at your own convenience. So my guess is you can set a timer, judging from this little panel here, and you'll be able to set the incubator to say incubate for an hour, incubate for 2 hours, that sort of stuff, and then like stop incubation from this red button, because you know you might have eggs with different incubation times and stuff like that. I really hope this is implemented well, and I'm really keen for it. Here's the egg incubator up close. You can see each egg has a different thermometer sort of reading on it as well, which is really cool. It looks very high tech, but I don't think it's going to be element based. I think it's going to be like electronics and polymer based, which is really cool. It's not going to be end game. You're going to get access to it, which is really dope. Next up, we have the ammo box. So this one's a really cool one as well. A lot of the items they've implemented, not should have, but really would have been benefited from being in the game earlier. Nonetheless, they have been saving it, obviously. So the ammo box, this handy new structure will automatically fill all nearby turrets with all the varieties of ammunition, while its floating HUD shows you its total ammo stats without the need to open the inventory, and also reflected visually with the ammunition models displayed on it. Now, honestly, the most exciting thing about this is the visual ammunition models on it. So depending on how much ammunition you've got inside of this, it's going to show on the outside based on how much you've got in there, which is really cool. It gets me really excited because I've always wanted like wood and stone and thatch and fiber to have their own little models. And on Aberration, they do. Like crystal, wood, stone, flint, they all have their individual models. I think this is a step in the right direction, and I'm really keen to see how it pays off. And you can see here there's a whole bunch of different ammo. So we've got ballistas, we've got chain bowlers, we've got rockets for like the rocket turrets, we've got the boulders for the catapults, heavy turret ammo. You know, this is going to be really cool. It's going to make life a lot easier because you're not going to need to constantly go around refilling your own turrets. You know, you can chuck all the ammunition into here and it will automatically feed it to your turrets, which is dope. So cool. Alrighty, next up, we've got the remote camera security system. So, I think they tried to implement something like this in Genesis 1. No, that was the other thing. So, secure your base in Genesis Part 2 with the remote camera security system. Issue commands, view, and communicate all from a remote location. You can even use them to spy on and communicate with your enemies. So, it looks like you'll be able to set these little dudes up wherever you want them to, really. You can see here is a layout of the map. Now, they've been smart about it, and they've been like, okay, we're not going to give you anything for the Genesis map. We're going to chuck these on the island, because this is the island map. And you can see that this guy's got cameras deployed sort of all over the place. So, definitely think you'll be able to deploy these pretty much wherever you want. You can see here, Cam S, enemy base, waterfall. So, you'll also be able to, like, title it and stuff like that, which is really exciting. And yeah, they're going to be remote camera security systems that you'll be able to use to spy on everyone and keep an eye on your base as well for like PvP and stuff like that. Alrighty, next up, we've got the Loadout Mannequin. Now, no need to scream, who moved my kit from my vault, and you try mates again while your turrets are soaked and you run in circles. Kit up quick and get to those griefers by storing your loadouts on trusty loadout mannequins, which also visualize your gear and hotbar items for a single press full equipment swap. Whew, whew, oh, that's some zesty stuff they got going on there. So first off, let's take a look at the little design they've got. Now at the top here, we've got 10 different boxes. Now, my guess is that each one of these boxes, you'll be able to have a different loadout. Now, you could have PvP gear, you could have your PvE gear, you could have your harvesting gear, you know, your pickaxe, your sickle, your hatchet, that sort of stuff. You could have your gun gear, you name it. You know, different sets of armor. You could have your desert cloth, your flak, your riot, your hide, your ghillie, your chitin, your snow, your fur armor, your tech armor. And what it'll do is you can select it off the mannequin. So I'm guessing you're going to open up like a radial wheel. You're going to have a choice of which armor you want to equip or which set based on what you've stored in here. And then it'll equip it for you, and you can just press a single button and it'll automatically equip it for you. Which you can see here, it'll also visualize your gear and hotbar items for a full single press equipment swap. So pressing E and you'll swap all your gear, which is going to be really cool. I really think they're going to do really good with this. And another thing that I've noticed is it doesn't look very tech-based, which I think is a good thing. Because we're not going to need element to run it and that sort of stuff. And it does kind of look like it's made out of wood, so hopefully it's like a mid-tier sort of structure that we can get access to. And I'm really keen to see how all this plays out, really. Now, this next one is hands down my favorite new item. No joke. I like this more than the weapons and all that sort of stuff. We have the tech crop plot. Now, want to take up gardening aboard ship? Crew members can make use of this high-tech crop plot to efficiently raise harvestable plants just about anywhere. Now, a few things about this that I want to talk about. Should have this bad boy up here somewhere. Hold on, that's all the biomes. There we go. So the tech crop plot. Now, first off, you can see here that this is obviously where the plant's going to grow. You've got these beams here. Now, first thing to me is they look like LED lights. Now, LED lights are generally used to grow plants. So my guess is that this is going to act like a greenhouse. So it's going to get a greenhouse effect and you won't need to build the greenhouse around it. I just like these the most because I think they look really cool. And I like the implementation of having, I'm just guessing here, but I'm guessing they're going to be like a greenhouse effect and they'll sort of boost the plant's growth and stuff like that. I don't know how the fertilizing and the water is going to work. I'm hoping that it will automatically take fertilizer from any sources nearby it. As for the water, I'm also guessing that it's not going to need water. Because they do say you can grow your crops anywhere, just about anywhere. So I don't know where they're excluding. Obviously, maybe not in space. I don't know. But yeah, I'm really keen to see how the tech crop plot goes. It makes me really excited. Alrighty. Next up, we've got the new environments. So welcome to your new home, Survivor. You've been returned to life aboard this immense vessel, representing the pinnacle of mankind's ingenuity. What could have motivated so desperate a measure to cast all of nature itself adrift in this interstellar lifeboat? So at the end of Genesis 1, you wake up, you're no longer in a simulation, and you're alive again. Now, I wonder how they're going to handle death as well. I wonder how that's going to work on Genesis 2. But this is the ship. And you can see here in these shots, they're the rings. So that's where the biomes will be. You'll obviously be able to traverse around those. We've still got this whole section of the ship, as well as this whole section. Looks like you'll be able to travel eventually through this mid-beam here. So you can see this beam light here is going through. Looks like you'll eventually be able to travel. And then these side bits are where Rockwell has been hiding and stuff like that. So you've got that one there. We've also got the external of the ship. So it's got... Is that RAF? Is it supposed to be RAF? I'm not 100% sure. Maybe RAF, Federation something something. I'm not too sure. But you can see here a closer up of the biomes. So this is going to be... We'll go over the biomes later as well. This is going to be like the lush tropical biomes. And then this one here is going to be like the sort of the aberration glowy forest sort of vibe. The sunken forest that we got from like Extinction and stuff like that. All kind of melded into one. So that's the exterior. But it gives us a little bit of an indication of the two different rings of the biomes. Next up, we also have the Biome 1. So the idyllic sunlit meadows and rolling hills of this tranquil biome show little to indicate what's in store under the influence of Rockwell's insanity. So this is like a nice, chill biome. There are like flowers and stuff like that. There's a cave there. Makes it really exciting. There's like big hills and stuff like that. This is all concept though. So like it is obviously resulting in changing, but it still looks really nice and I'm really keen. Biome number 2, enjoying this view, Survivor? Perhaps you'd fancy a stroll along the promenade. Don't be shy, those bridges are spacious enough for any beast you've tamed, and its observation towers offer the best vantage of the sprawling artificial gardens you see before you. So this one over here, you can see that apparently these gardens are artificial. You'll be able to get into these towers up here, you'll be able to set up base on them. There's a nice promenade, so this very looks like the sort of man-made where they'd expect the people to be living and stuff like that. That's the vibe I'm getting anyway, because this is supposed to be like a giant space station ship. It's supposed to be your last hope for mankind. So, for humankind, sorry. So, it makes me think that this is where they were originally going to be living and stuff like that, and like going about doing their work and maintenance and all that sort of stuff. But obviously, Rockwell decided to come along and ruin that. Now, on to Biome 3. Creation is an exhilarating undertaking, one of the incomparable prerequisites of godhood. I'm afraid you won't find much in the way of creature comforts here. This garden isn't meant for you after all. Straight away, this is going to be a biome full of deadly creatures. And you can see here that there is water here, so the shadow main definitely will be able to go through here, I'm going to say. And this is just going to be chock-a-block full of creatures. Because, you know, you're obviously not supposed to be here. Creature comforts here. It's just going to be full of new creatures. Now, the fourth biome, biome number 4. Now, I don't know if this is going to be all the biomes as well. Part of me thinks it will be because they've kind of stuck with the 4 biomes in the past. Nonetheless, here we go. How foolish you are to have scurried into my inner sanctum. Did you truly expect to evade my notice here? I am this place now, and you're merely a parasite. So that's Rockwell. That's quoted from Rockwell, and this is it here. Now, in the trailer, we saw the eyes, we saw the mouth, we saw the creatures. But you look over here, there's actually a guy over here. Whether or not that's Rockwell, I highly doubt it, since he kind of turned into a big-ass scary monster. So I'm going to say that is your survivor. But this is actually located in these sections of the rings. Now, we noticed that from the trailer. If you haven't seen my trailer breakdown, check it out, guys. I'll go over it all in there. But yeah, pretty much this section here on the ship is pretty much covered in Rockwell's tentacles and stuff like that. So, really exciting. But yeah, that's all the biomes. That's all the new items and stuff like that. And they've got a little end note here. And of course, that isn't everything there is to see about Genesis Part 2. We have so much more in store and can't wait for you to check it out in March 2021. So far, it's still going ahead in March. Apparently, there's still more. I'm hoping there's more creatures, more items, more more structures and stuff like that. But I'm really keen for it, guys. It's got me pumped. I'm really excited. Hopefully, you guys are as well. I think the items are a really good addition to the whole of Ark. I'm keen for the weapons. I'm keen for the structures and stuff like that. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video today. Let me know what you guys think of all the new items and all that sort of stuff. But other than that, guys, thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.